Hi. I've been drawn from spirit to share some of my experiences through life, through trauma healing and connection with spirit, connection with interdimensional beings. I've had interface with many different types of beings over the years, from uh, Andromedans, Palladians, Lyrans, Mantis beings, uh, Egyptian deities, um, and and passed over spirits that were human. Um, and I feel like this is something that's, obviously the Great Awakening is upon us, and many people are waking up to these things, amongst everything else. So there's a lot going on in the cosmos right now. But what I wanted to talk about is I actually might start with the grid work, because I feel like that is the kind of where everything comes together. The healing, the channeling, the connections with other realms. Sorry, that sun's coming right through into my eyes. I was trying to get some natural light out here, but that's a bit much. And so I'm talking about, uh, yeah, connecting with the ley lines. Sorry. So I guess if you haven't, if you don't know anything much about the ley lines, I mean, you can look it up. Just let your nose lead you. Rachel Vaughan actually is an Aussie, who speaks out about child sex trafficking and the like. And she actually has some good videos on how to see and sense the ley lines. Um, so anyway, I always sense the ley lines. I can feel the energy, and I can feel the vortexes where they intersect. So I have a ley line on my property. Well, I have several, um, which I have just naturally been drawn to do a lot of my processing on out in nature, connecting. Hello, rumors. Come and say hello. Look at this cutie. Hello. Um, to process my emotions. In many ways, it has become a ritual, I guess, because it's like it's a necessary. It's necessary to keep any kind of fucking sanity in this world, for myself anyway. Um, so basically, I like to sit like I am right now, just sitting on the ley line. I like to be barefoot usually. Sometimes I dance and move. Sometimes I stretch. Sometimes I'm doing breath work. Um, but I try to get out onto the ley line to ground, to connect with Pachamama, to move my body and release any of the emotions that are stuck in my tissues. As they say, the issues are in the tissues, and that is very true. If you look into fascia, if you're looking for different types of movement to do on your ley line too, I totally recommend a YouTube channel called Human Garage TV. Really good fascia release maneuvers that you can do for yourself. Uh, I have trained as a dancer. I have trained as a massage therapist, and worked as a professional psychic. Blah blah blah. But so I'm pretty in tune with my body, and I can really get that energy moving through different movements, breath work, and the like. But this is basically my process: is to get grounded, bring my attention inward. I really like to have really good frequency music, so I'm going to really suggest my absolute favorite. Big shout out to Larima Sound Alchemy. Uh, that man channels the most medicinal frequencies in his music. It's truly healing. It will truly take you on a journey. And if you make the time and space for yourself to sit with your feelings, don't so much identify with them, just allowing them to arise, holding space for them, and releasing them with intent, either through breath, movement, just your intention in general, just to release. And allowing any tears to flow. You could have burping, you could have any kind of releases during this process that are physical releases as well as energetic and emotional. And so, sorry, that sun's getting bad again. Let me just get in the amongst the bushes here. Anyway, so yeah, getting the emotional release. Now, once I've got all my chakras clear, so you can do like a chakra clearing and balancing with this. Hang on, I'm going to just move maybe this way here. So you can do chakra clearing and balancing meditation along with the movement. I might do a video on that actually, just for people who, aren't used to meditating or moving meditations either. But anyway, I'm just going to try and explain the process first, and then maybe I'll share it at a later date. But yeah, just holding space for the emotions, not attaching to them, allowing them to move through you. And sometimes, I find when I'm having a release, I will ask for any information pertaining to the situation of the emotions I'm feeling. So let's see, for example, if some uncomfortable emotion comes up and I'm sitting with it, I'm processing it, I'm allowing it to flow through, I might just question, when was the first time I've felt that emotion? Where did that belief come from? How has it affected my life? Just questioning what's coming up for you. Is it still serving you? Has it ever served you for, if you want to be really real about it? And so I feel like just bringing conscious awareness to anything is the first step of moving through something. So just holding space for things to arise in your awareness and to basically become a clear channel. So once I've gone through this process, and some days it's a lot quicker than some days, I'm just like, whoo, clean channel, here we go. Other days I'm out here crying, stretching, breathing, shaking, releasing in all different crazy ways. And so I feel like that's the main part of the process. So I got to get myself emotionally and energetically a clear channel. All my chakras need to be aligned. Once I've gone through that process and I'm clear and aligned, I then will often get into I'm usually in a space of gratitude by this point. Gratitude really flips the switch on everything. But what I am doing at that point is consciously channeling energy from the stars, reaching up to the stars, channeling it through my body, anchoring it into the ley line, the love. Now, if you've never experienced the unconditional love from the spirit realm, it really is indescribable. Yeah, there's no words, but I mean, this is how you experience it. First time I experienced this was probably about 18 years ago, when I had my Kundalini awakening, and I had done a inner child healing, the first one ever, that previous week, and I was a bit rattled by what came up. I hadn't quite processed it, and I was doing a chakra clearing and balancing, and I asked, and I'd been meditating for quite a few years by that point anyway, and had connected with my spirit guides. A really good book, actually, if you're trying to connect with spirit guides. There's two of them. Well, actually, there's a whole series by Sanaya Roman's Earth Life series. Highly recommended. That really helped me when I was connecting with my guides back in the day. And I still use a lot of the techniques from that book. There's one, personal power through awareness, is really learning to become aware of your own energy, and then you can be more aware of when your energy is being affected by others, whether that be positive, negative, or neutral. And so once you have a bit more self-awareness and you can really sort of become aware of your own energy, the next book is called Opening Channel, which is more about connecting with your spirit guides and your spirit team. So that's really beautiful. Actually, here's a beautiful story about that, because I bought one deck of cards out with me, which I just bought recently. This beautiful deck that is illustrated by Louis Tamani and Magali Tamani. And this is an ayahuasca visionary artist. I have had, so when I'd actually done this work with Sinea Roman's material back in the day, I was introduced to 3 spirit guides. One was a female, her name she gave was Chandra. Another guy was like a Jewish guy with like Jew curls and a little thingy on the head. He came through with the name of Amel, and he was the one that I was actually the most able to connect with and converse with. Chandra came through a lot on obviously around the full moon. That's who I really connected to on the feminine side, doing anything creative, anything intuitive, ritualistic. That's kind of when her energy would come through and I would get her support. And then I also had another guide who felt really really advanced, and I wasn't able to see him in my mind's eye for 2 years. He was just a bright light, a really bright light. And so because I couldn't converse with him, I was like, okay, well, I can really connect with Armel and I can connect with Chandra, so I'm just going to work with what I can actually connect with at that point. Because I kind of knew that I wasn't ready for this guide, but I was ready to know that I needed to step into a different frequency to be able to connect with him. So after about 2 years, when I was meditating, I saw him, the names aren't important, but it's just like a point of reference for us. And often they will come through quite biblical names, because if you look at Chandra, I think that means something like a lunar goddess, and Mel, I can't remember the meaning of that one. I believe it was like it's something Hebrew, but I really can't remember. So I'm going to look that up because it's really annoying me now. I haven't looked it up for years. But anyway, so the third one that came through, he felt like a shaman, but he didn't look like a Native American. I didn't know what culture he was from. He had a big like headdress that had a big bird of prey and then a big jungle cat head and skin over the top. And he was kind of like, not dark skinned, but not light skinned. And he had different features to Native Americans. And I was like, I don't know where he's from. But anyway, I finally started being able to, over time, communicate with Namache, was the name he gave. And when I saw him, I drew him all those years ago. And after hang on, let's see if I can put this, that's a really unflattering angle. After I'd sat with plant medicine with Mother Ayahuasca for the first time, I came across Louis Tamani's artworks, his visionary art. And I have had one of his artworks as my screensaver on my phone for about the last 4 or 5 years. And here's exactly what my guide looked like. When I bought these cards the other day, I was so excited to see Louis' work and to own these beautiful cards. But the most beautiful thing about it for me is that when I found the card, which I can't find it right now, I'm just trying to find where it is. Let me just have a quick scooch through here. Oh my goodness. When I find the card for you guys, I'm just trying to find, where is it? Here. When I found the actual card with the picture that I've had on my screensaver for the last 4 years, and he was actually a Peruvian shaman that is depicted, an ayahuasquero or curandero. This is, check it out, the name of the card, his guide. And that's what my guide looked like. He had the jungle cat with the bird of prey headdress. Anyway, so that's, a message from my guides about 20 years after the fact. And I love that about spirit. I love these cards. I just want to show you a few of these. Like, look at these artworks. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but my goodness. My goodness. This is just the most beautiful cards. And so these are some of the stories I want to share. Is that when you've been connected with spirit for such a long time, and it's really kind of baffles me how a lot of people just have no conscious connection with spirit. It really, especially, in Western culture, everyone's just connected and plugged into the matrix and missing out on this whole, what actually makes life beautiful. What actually makes this realm magical is the spiritual element to it. It's not the fast cars, it's not the fucking handbags and shit. It is connecting deeply with this world, with the animals, with nature, with other humans. And that's really it. It's love. Love is all that matters. It's what we come from. It's what we return to. And so I'm gonna, oh God, man, I'm ADHD as fuck, I guess. I'm not diagnosed, but I think it's pretty obvious. But I'll circle back to my Kundalini experience. And so I had done my inner child healing that week. I was doing a chakra clearing and balancing. I was doing a lot of energy healing at that time. My guides were really teaching me how to do my own form of energy healing. Anyway, sorry, beagle running by. And so my question to my guides at that time was, how do I become a better healer? And everything just went black for a moment, which is really unusual in meditation, just to have nothingness. And there was just this moment of nothingness. And then I saw myself standing at the inlet at the beach down the road from where I was living at the time. And I felt a presence next to me on my right side. And as I turned and I looked, it was Jesus. It was Jesus with the beard, the robes, the whole shebang of how, Jesus is depicted, how I would recognize Jesus to look. I am not in any way, shape, or form religious. I did not grow up with religion. There was no spirituality, no religion, no nothing in my home growing up. And so I was kind of taken aback when I saw Jesus. And as he looked at me, he held his hand out and he said, without moving his mouth, he said it telepathically, like straight to my third eye. He said, all any of us has to do is believe. And he took my hand and we walked on water, and we walked out to the mouth of the ocean where the inlet meets the ocean, and we sat on the water because it's me and Jesus, we can do these things. And so we sat on the water and we just looked at the horizon, and we just were sitting in each other's company for a time silently. And then we both just got up, walked back to the water's edge. And he was still holding my hand at that time. And when we got back to the land, he let go of my hand and he kept walking. And I was just watching him walk off into the distance. And I would say he was, maybe 20 or so meters away, 20, 30 meters away. And he turned and he looked at me. And in that moment, I felt a rush of energy go from my base chakra all the way up. And as it rose and it got to my heart chakra, it just started vibrating outwards. It just started vibrating out. And as it sort of kept coming up, and I was just expanding my consciousness. I was no longer my body. I was my consciousness. And it was like I was the ether, and I was connected to everything. I could feel the rocks. I could feel myself as the trees. And I felt this most unconditional love towards me that I can't even express. I mean, anyone who's had children knows the first time you hold them, if your hormones kick in all right, you just have this overwhelming sense of love, like you didn't know that much love existed inside of you. And then to experience this towards me, it was really overwhelming. And sort of as I was experiencing this overwhelming love, I all of a sudden my awareness came back to my body, I was sitting on the floor in my lounge room, and I kind of freaked out because I was like, what? Because I literally had a physical feeling, like I could feel the energy rising, I could feel it, my spirit just kind of emanate outwards from my body. And I kind of sat there shocked for a time. I didn't know how to process what I'd just experienced. And I think being Jesus, it was really rattling for me because I feel like I I've never been a fan of Christianity. I have Christian family members who are as far from what I would call a Christian in their behavior and their soul. I feel like, repentance is one thing, but it's easier just to not be an asshole in the first place. Just listen to God, listen to your heart, instead of just turning up at church and being holier than thou. But anyway, that aside, I experienced Jesus in a very profound way. And had it been like, Buddha or an Indian or anything else, I probably would have just was like, oh, that was just my imagination, But because this was so far from what I believed in, it really shook me. It really fucking shook me to my core. And so that was probably, I don't know, I think it was about 17 years ago. I've been up here about 17, 18 years now. So about 17 years ago. So, yeah, that's one of the many stories I want to, because there has been a lot since then, let me tell you, as far as different entities, different deities, good and bad, the spiritual realm is fucking busy. It's a busy place. And we are influenced, whether we believe it or not, whether we realize it or not. We are influenced in so many different ways by both the darkness and the light. And I think having conscious awareness is really your only defense. It's the only way you can catch yourself. I mean, you really have to start to get to know yourself in these times. There is so much shifting on this planet right now. And I really feel like it is the frequency. So again, here we go back to the fucking grid work and the ley lines. Um, this is why this work is so important right now at this point in time, because we are holding the light on this planet as it transitions. There is a lot of darkness that works with the same ley lines that we need to be working on. So the ley lines are kind of like the chakra, the energy nodes and the chakra points of the planet. Because Pachamama, she is alive, as are we. And so those energy centers are often used for dark, nefarious purposes to keep the frequency on this planet, confirmation burp, um, in a low vibration. And I feel like a lot of people are really waking up to this and the fact that we all need to participate as much as possible. But it's really difficult when people are just traumatized. They're busy trying to put a roof over their heads, just busy in the matrix, which is falling very quickly right now, which is an interesting thing to witness. So yeah, that's where I feel like working with the ley lines, processing trauma, connecting with spirit. I feel like this is all super important right now. I've been consciously working with the ley lines for at least the last 4 years. And yeah, my life has changed. My inner world has changed. And through this process, once I have these channels clear, once my emotions are out of the way and I'm connected to the spirit, connected to Pachamama, this is often where the downloads come in. This is where I can interface with higher dimensional beings of all different types. And this is, again, where I would highly recommend Sanaya Roman's work with opening to channel, with learning how to protect yourself before connecting with any kind of spiritual beings. Super important. So yeah, I would highly, highly recommend that. I will share nuggets from what I have taken on from those books, because I actually haven't read those books in a long, long time. But I know, when it's a pivotal point when you come across information like this. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff I want to start sharing with people, and it'll resonate with who it's meant to resonate with, because at this point in time, humanity needs to really step up, save ourselves, save this beautiful planet, and raise the frequency. I hope.